Regarding the COVID vaccine, the CDC is now saying that there has been enough cases of people who have had the vaccine, received the vaccine, and then suffered a stroke. The agency will now be investigating any potential links between the shots and the strokes in some of those patients.
How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today we got to talk about the CDC and the FDA investigating a possible link between the vax and strokes. Now, we all knew this was going to happen sooner or later because we've been seeing a lot of vaccine injuries that have kind of gone underreported by the media. We know what's going on, but the media, the political establishment, the big companies, obviously Pfizer, Moderna, et cetera, they don't want to talk about that too much. They say, oh, no, it's not really a problem. It's no big deal. Nothing to worry about here. Don't be a tinfoil hat wearer. Don't be a conspiracy theorist. Don't be a Trump supporting right-wing moron with no teeth in your mouth. That's what they want to try to call you and label you. But we see what's going on. We've seen countless videos of people falling out for no reason. Right when the vax start rolling out, we were starting to see it. We were seeing nurses pass out right there in the hospital after they get the shot. We see what's going on. Okay, this is part of the reason why many of us refuse to get the shot. We want to stay pure blood because, first of all, we don't know the long-term effects of this thing. It's unknowable. It just came out. People like, what was that, Neil deGrasse Tyson talking about, oh, we did the trials. Well, how can you do a trial for long-term effects in the course of 9 months? It's impossible. It's just not really realistic. There are other drugs that have been around for a very long time, like HCQ and whatnot, that have been proven through the test of time, through a lot of field research, through billions of doses being administered. But for some reason, those were considered toxic. Those were considered dangerous. Now, how does that make any sense? Drugs that have been proven safe, that have been used for a very long time, that are available over the counter in most of the world. How are those drugs deemed unsafe and improper to use with this particular bug, but yet brand new things that have just come out that have not had much testing at all and whose effects long-term are unknowable? How is that considered to be safe? It didn't make any sense from the beginning. And now the federal government are coming out and saying, well, it might not be safe. Okay. Now, let's get into this article. Of course, this will be in the description if you want to read it for yourself, but you see what's going on. CDC and FDA see possible link between Pfizer's bivalent shot and strokes. The agency said the surveillance signal is, quote, very unlikely to represent a, quote, true clinical risk, unquote, and said that they continue to recommend the vaccine. So, this is on Politico. Of course, I got to say that first part right there. We're going to recommend it. Yeah, recommend the vaccine, but you might get a stroke afterward, though. So, I recommend you take this. But if you have a stroke, hey, man, it's all in the game, though, right? It's just part of the game. That's crazy. I would never. How does it make any sense? Hey, man, I recommend this, but you might die afterward. Maybe, just maybe. It's a small chance, but hey, it happens. But the article continues. The CDC and FDA announced on Friday that their surveillance system flagged a possible link between the new Pfizer-BioNTech bivalent C-19 vaccine and strokes in people aged 65 and over, but said they were continuing to recommend the shots. The surveillance, what surveillance is this, though? Like, how are they really surveilling us when it comes to the shot? That's a good question. Maybe you guys know. Let me know in the comments below. But anyway, the surveillance raised a question of whether, and they put that in quotation marks, a lot of really lawyery stuff in this article. They got to be very, very careful. And matter of fact, I'm going to do a disclaimer right here as well. I'm just reading this article and I'm giving my opinion. This is not medical advice. I'm no doctor. I know nothing. I'm just giving my opinion about what I'm reading right here. And if you want to see more articles, more sources from left, right, center, I'll link to everything in the description box. And please, please, please do your own research. The same thing I say about getting the shot in general. Do that research for why you may not want to get the shot or why it may be dangerous. But anyway, the surveillance raised a question of whether stroke risk was elevated in a 21-day period post-vaccination versus 22 to 44 days post-vaccination, according to a statement on the CDC website. The agency said other data from the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services, Department of Veterans Affairs, and other sources haven't shown an elevated risk of stroke. Quote, although the totality of the data currently suggests that it is very unlikely that the signal represents a true clinical risk, we believe it is important to share this information with the public as we have in the past when one of our safety monitoring system detects a signal. Basically, in my opinion, what that means is, hey, you know what? There might be a problem, so we got to say something now so they can't come out and say that we didn't say anything. It's like, now we told you that it could be a problem. We put out some press releases and we did a press conference and whatnot and had Politico and Daily Mail and Fox News and everybody else write articles about it. So, yo, if your uncle at 75 years old has a stroke and he dies after the vax, well, don't blame us. It was your fault for not heeding the warning. That's what, in my opinion, that's what that statement says. Maybe I'm incorrect, but I don't think I am. Let's continue. The real-time surveillance system, the CDC's vaccine safety data link, met criteria warranting further investigation into whether the bivalent Pfizer vaccine led to a higher risk of ischemic stroke, which occurs when arteries pumping blood to the brain are blocked by a blood clot. Oh, so not just, a stroke just for no reason, a blood clot specifically. We know that the vax allegedly can cause blood clots. We know about that. That's been happening a lot. In the whole Diet Sutton documentary, didn't they show a bunch of just crazy blood clots? Isn't that going on all over the world? Now, some are going to say, well, hey, ABL, that could be caused by the virus itself. That's possible. But if you've never had the virus, but you had the vax and you got that blood clot, well, the better thing to do would have been to not get the shot because you weren't going to get the virus anyway. Some are going to say that the shot prevents the virus, but it does not. CDC Director Rochelle Walensky says that it doesn't do that. So what are we talking about here? But let's continue. Oh, and before I continue with that, I just want to play a couple of clips because you may have seen this clip floating around, the one on top right here from Rochelle Walensky. But this is an old clip. Let me play it first, and then I'll play another one. Then I'll tell you the date sequences of both videos.
Our data from the CDC today suggests, that vaccinated people do not carry the virus, don't get sick, and that it's not just in the clinical trials, but it's also in real world data.
So this is an old clip from almost 2 years ago. This is March of 2021. Okay, March 2021. That's an old clip. So if you're seeing that floating around, it's kind of been going viral as of late. You see when it was posted 2 hours ago from right now. It's about 4 o'clock on January 14th, 2023. This is a 2-year-old clip almost from March 2021. Now, here is a clip from, this is early August, I think August 5th, 2021. I posted it October the 2nd, but it's from August 2021. This is months after the first clip. Let's check it out.
Our vaccines are working exceptionally well. They continue to work well for Delta with regard to severe illness and death. They prevent it. But what they can't do anymore is prevent transmission. So if you're going home to somebody who has not been vaccinated, to somebody who can't get vaccinated, somebody who might be immunosuppressed or a little bit frail, somebody who has comorbidities that put them at high risk, I would suggest you wear a mask in public indoor settings.
So all that about the mask was kind of irrelevant, but the biggest point behind that was she says that the vax cannot prevent transmission, which is different than what she said right here. Again, this is March 2021, almost 2 years ago. This was August 2021. Okay, this was months after that clip. Although you're seeing this floating around recently, this is a 2-year-old clip, and I have evidence for that in the description box. You can see a website article where the same video was posted, but let's get back to this article right here. So they're talking about blood clots. I almost forgot about that part. They're talking about blood clots. That's been a big thing, but let's keep on going. Pfizer and BioNTech said in a statement that quote, there is no evidence to conclude that ischemic stroke is associated with the use of the company's C-19 vaccines. The announcement prompted a response from House Energy and Commerce Chair Kathy McMorris Rogers, Republican from Washington, who said CDC and FDA will testify before her committee. All right. So we got some dog and pony show action going on. Hopefully it results in something that's fruitful. Quote, these agencies must rapidly investigate in an open and transparent manner whether or not the vaccine may have contributed to the reported strokes, McMorris Rogers said in a statement. if there's one lesson that the CDC and FDA should have taken away from the pandemic, it's the importance of providing honest, clear, precise, and timely information to the American people about the potential risks and benefits of C-19 interventions, including vaccination. The announcement comes as the Biden administration has aggressively promoted the updated vaccine to older Americans, which is crazy because, again, they're investigating the stroke risk of older Americans. And also, throughout this whole thing, they've said that if you are up there in age, you should get the vaccine because you're most likely to pass away from being sick. Although you just heard what Rochelle Walensky said, it can't prevent you from catching it. Maybe it lowers your symptoms at best. That's what they claim. But if you have a higher risk of stroke, then what's the purpose? All right, so you may have lower vax complications, allegedly, if you get the vax. That's what they're saying. That's their claim. But there's also a higher risk of stroke. So you might just want to not get it and be safer that way. I say talk to your doctor and figure out what's going on. But there's more to this article. There's other articles, of course. I'll link to those in the description box. If you're on IG, go to the link in the bio, go to my website, and then go to the corresponding article. But as I close, I want to say this. Those of us who were skeptical from the beginning about this particular thing, I feel like over the past few days, weeks, months, we've been vindicated. I mean, it's unfortunate. It's not like a ha, I told you so, because there's been quite a bit of life lost, quite a bit of injuries, in my opinion, from this particular thing. And they're starting to investigate. They're starting to see what's going on. They're talking about blood clots. They're talking about strokes. They're talking about vaccine injuries. This is a federal government talking about this openly. So we know they've been trying to suppress all the information. Of course they would, because if they're saying every day, get vax, get vax, get vax, and we're seeing documentaries come out, random videos come out of perfectly healthy people that are just passing out for no reason. I'm talking about sitting in one place, eating an ice cream cone, and then boom, they're falling out, 25 years old. Something's going on. Is it the vax? Is it the bug? A combination of both? What's really going on? I think we can see that there's an issue with the vax, because if the government sees it and they tell us, that tells us much more than what they have not told us so far. But I think I'll leave that right there for now. And what say you? How do you feel about what's going on here? Do you think that there is a link between the vax and strokes and other injuries? Whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments below. You guys know where I'm at. This is what I feared from the very beginning. This is why I didn't get the vax, because I knew it's brand new. You can't really test it. There's going to be side effects, and I don't want to be a guinea pig. I rather would take my chances. I know the virus is real. It hurts people. I get it. But a lot of things that hurt people. I'm not going to put my life in danger knowingly just because I'm scared of a thing that may or may not get me and may or may not get me in a negative way. It's really just that simple. But whatever your thoughts are, please let me know in the comments below. And that's all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.